center ourselves. Push. There's none of my breathy voice is going to pick up in the audio.
Oh, God, no. I'm looking at it and I think it's already cut it out.
Hindenburg is going to go fucking nuts on the breath filter, on everything I'm saying right now. I'm just going to have to drag it down to the second audio track I use that doesn't have any equalization or anything like that for when it cuts out a plosive or a sibilant that I actually need in the episode.
But then there's me. I never pay attention to the joke.
You're listening, and I'm talking. Now let's keep it that way. I'm Liam S. Smith. This is JoJo's World. Welcome.
I'm Nick Valentine. I'm also on JoJo's World.
Co-hosts.
I'll say don't welcome, but maybe sort of welcome.
This is our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast.
You just can't help go into the ASMR
It's a good
zone.
voice. I like it, and I discovered it.
Oh, hey, what up? It's me, Breath Man. That's all I got.
Man, you've ruined it. You've ruined it.
Look, ASMR is fine.
That's not what I was doing.
You were halfway to ASMR. All you needed was
I
to
was
get
going
right
for
up. Like deep kind of like
self-affirmation audio tapes you listen to while you're asleep while new age music plays in the background.
Yeah, you're trying to be like that scene in Severance.
I haven't seen it.
You're going for the wellness session where they're like, you are a powerful member of society. You
are not anxious.
Please do not try to display any preference towards
the active decay of Western civilization is not driving you crazy every moment of the day.
You are not responsible for the actions of that guy down the road who keeps displaying a flag that makes you kind of uncomfortable. He's erroneous in his thoughts.
Yeah, it's got a big goatsy on it.
Everyone that drives past it is like, it's going to be a windmill.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's not yes-anding me.
Don't worry, there's about 8 steps there that we need to get to.
Okay, Nick.
Yes.
JoJo's World.
War.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
War.
Yeah.
War, Liam. It's all coming back to war.
It sure is.
There's war on the front, there's war in the back, but today...
Stuck in the middle with you.
A rare respite from the war.
Meetings.
So many meetings.
We have meetings. We watched episodes 35 and 36 today. But before we get into that, I want to share with you some words of reflection from our new acquaintance. Tanaka Yoshiki.
Oh.
The author of Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh. Are these words at the level of Araki?
Well, I didn't say they were words of wisdom.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't know him well enough yet.
That's fair. Look, this guy could be a normal human for all we know. Not like Araki.
So I've sourced a few different interviews for this episode and the next couple.
Okay.
And today I'll be sharing 2 interviews that are on his Legend of Galactic Heroes fandom wiki page, unsourced, but from interview excerpt 1996 and interview excerpt 2001.
Interesting. That's way more recent than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is from this is like a 1980s anime.
Well, no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Well, Nick, as I'm about to explain, the lead into this first interview. The first volume of The Legend of Galactic Heroes was published in 1982. After that, the novel series continued for 7 years, and the anime, which became an epic series running for 10 years, began. In 1996, 8 years after the anime started, okay, I guess you were right.
Bam.
After it started production, the father of the great legend, Tanaka Yoshiki, spoke about the birth of the series.
It went on a while.
I had a vague desire to try writing something like the various space operas that I read when I was a kid. In 1978, when I received Phantasmagoria's Rookie of the Year award, some of the authors who got their start in Phantasmagoria were gathered and a long fiction commission competition was planned. At the time I said, I'd like to try writing space opera, and I got to fulfill my dream. I came up with the title Galactic Chess Game, and I wrote the overview of hundreds of years of history of the galaxy up through when that story was to take place. In that history, 2 people, Reinhard and Yang Wen Li, faced off in one episode from the past. Or so the story goes. Lol. That's as far as that draft ever... What?
Just him saying lol?
It's in parentheses, so...
Oh, okay, that makes it better.
Yeah. Right. That's as far as that draft ever got. After that, I got a call from an editor at Tokumashoten, completely out of the blue. At which point I remembered the long work I'd written 3 years ago already and showed it to him. When I did that, because the outline of the history leading up to the story was more interesting than the story itself, he ended up telling me to try writing about that in the style of a historical novel.
Amazing.
To tell the truth, ever since I started writing it, because I put so much effort into the history, I got really attached to it. Even though I'd rather try doing a story from that. And so, without even deciding on a title, I started writing, and it became The Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Amazing. So he started with the ending
So-
and then wrote backwards?
No, he did his world building document with the plan to write a story based on that.
Yeah.
And then the editor was like, no, just do that story.
You've already written a story of hundreds of years. Just do that.
do the story of the history.
Yeah. Amazing.
When the planning for the anime version started, how'd you feel about it? I think it was around the time I'd finished writing the 8th volume. I remember hearing that there was a plan to that effect in work from the managing editor. When I said, what? And went silent, he asked, what do you want to do? Lol. I'm pretty sure I said things like, I'd like to meet them and ask some questions, but there's no way they could be serious, right? And I don't think it's real. After that, it felt like it happened right away. The producer called me, and when he said, we really want to do it, I think I said something incredibly rude, like, seriously? And he had to go as far as to say, oh, it wasn't a joke, you know.
Could you imagine if someone came up to you one day and was like, Liam, we want to publish your autobiography.
We want to make the anime adaptation of JoJo's World.
And it was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you want to do that? It's like, that's not what?
We like it.
Yeah. You're like, oh, lol, alright, sure, fuck it, you get to do it, okay.
Knowing that it was for real, I met them. But even though I actually met them, I still absolutely didn't believe just how far that talk would go. Lol. When I thought that it was going to be an hour covering a particular episode, he said, that's what we'll do at first. But eventually we want to adapt the entire series into 100-something episode anime, and it felt even more unreal. Lol.
Just the cheeky little lols all the time. Oh.
Your impression of the producer, Tahara? When I tried meeting him, I understood that he was seriously thinking about it, and brimming with enthusiasm. I didn't think that I was a cynical person, but at that time, I didn't think it was really going to happen. When he said, at any rate, my diction is entirely off tonight.
You gotta get your diction back in check.
When he said, at any rate, we want to adapt the entire story, I remember tactlessly saying, I really appreciate your saying that, but I think it's kind of impossible. And that's the end of that interview.
Amazing. Incredible.
And now the 2001 interview.
So, what's that? 5 years later?
Yeah.
From that last interview? Yeah?
Yeah. When the anime is just wrapping up its release.
Okay.
And this was interview included in the DVD box containing the full series of all 45 volumes of the show.
Whoa.
So 165 episodes, 45 volumes.
That's a lot
like
of
a
words.
little more than... what?
45 volumes of books,
Of DVD.
Right? 45 volumes of DVD?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, 45 volumes of DVD?
45 volume DVD box set.
Wait, am I thinking this the wrong way around? There's 45 discs?
Yeah, or 45 DVD cases with, I assume, one disc, but maybe more.
Oh my god.
So that's a little more than 3 episodes per disc.
Actually, that makes sense, because I've got the box set of...
Anime merchandising is a rort.
Yeah, no. Holy fuck. 45 discs. Jesus. We should buy that.
No.
Oh, I should buy that. I should buy those 2 board games I was talking about off air.
Okay.
War of the Ring and World in Flames.
Nick is going to have some time on his hands in the near future.
Yeah.
So he wants to buy some insane board games that no one will ever play with him. To add to his collection of the big Dune board game that no one will ever play with him.
The greatest board game ever made. Dune 1970 whatever. And it's going to be like, I'm going to buy card sleeves, we're going to play it again, it's going to be great. But what if I bought more?
How long would you say an average of each of these games takes?
War of the Ring, I believe, takes multiple days. Similarly, World in Flames, I'm pretty sure it'll take more than a week. But Dune is anywhere from, like 20 minutes to 12 hours. It's a nice, easy game. Easy peasy, no problem. Just a great game.
You're insane.
Yeah.
Now, having seen the anime, what are your impressions? Even the lines that made me think, now that's clever, when I was writing them, still make me feel embarrassed when I hear the voice actors actually say them out loud. Lol.
He really
I'm
loves
just including
saying...
the lols for your reaction at this point.
But just
I could skip over them.
But it's like, why? Is this like his thing? Just to be all like, lol?
Maybe. It's probably a translation thing. It's probably...
No, I assume it's like, this must have been like a written interview. Because I remember back when I was a journalist, right? We would very rarely do in-person interviews. We would often do email interviews. So all of the mannerisms that people would have when they're writing up stuff.
Yeah, but do people say... People don't say lol in Japanese. They would have some equivalent, right?
I don't know. I think it might be one of those, like, like borrow the English terminology because it's just so widespread kind of thing. I don't know what, like loan word, is that it?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, it might just be like a loan word thing.
Alright, well, we are not qualified to...
Listen, I am no person to say that's exactly what's happening, but that's exactly what's happening.
How was it hearing the voice actors' voices for the first time? At the very beginning, I asked to be allowed to listen to the candidates' voices when voice actors for the main characters were being selected. When I heard the first set, I thought, it's this one for sure. But when I heard the next, I'd think, this one is great. I had to resign halfway through, lol. I decided that I'd leave it to the experts and look forward to the finished product.
Incredible.
He's just so excited for people to be making his show.
He didn't even think it was going to happen. This is great.
Why do you think they've supported it this far? Looking at the anime as an outsider, I think it's because the staff's earnest zeal got through to the viewers. As far as the original, the novel series, is concerned, to be honest, even as the author, I don't know. If I knew that, I think I'd be able to put out hits one after the other, wouldn't I? But it's probably for the best, lol. When the images on the screen so clearly presented things like the sense of scale that I was struggling with when I was writing, I remember thinking, this was so hard when I was writing this part. Lol.
And now it's so obvious. Now it's so easy.
And lastly, is there anything else you could tell us about the anime version? When people from the 20th century... what a way to start.
No, this was... actually, no, this was 2001.
Yeah.
So this was right when people were like, we're moving
That's true,
into the 21st century.
When people from the 20th century say things like, I'm reading Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and when I saw the anime in elementary school, I really got into it. I feel like I've been struck in the back and calmly think, I'm really old, aren't I? Lol.
Oh, this guy's great. I love him so much.
Whenever I talk to fans who read the novels first and then saw the anime, and fans who got into the novels through the anime, I end up wondering if they understand each other, lol. But it makes me happy to hear talk of kindred fans sharing their feelings and getting along. Please, watch it as you please, and other people might not understand it, but if you find a point where you say, for me, this is the best, that makes me happiest. That's nice.
Amazing. This guy's... he fucking slaps.
Yeah. So, I won't go into them now, but I've got 2 more interviews loaded up for future episodes. Ooh. One of which is an interview with him in Forbes, and the other is a discussion between him and Arakama Hiromu, the author and illustrator of Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh my god, this dude got it. How did we never hear about this like anime / manga?
I mean, I did.
Oh,
it was. Do you remember something I kept mentioning
never
that
mind.
We could potentially do?
But we
pretty much since we caught up with. Post part 4 JoJo.
But we never talked about it when we were like in high school or anything like that.
Nope.
But clearly this was coming out when we were in school. Oh no, maybe it was a bit older than that. Maybe. But damn.
Well, it wrapped up in around 2001 by the sound of it.
Yeah.
And I remember a certain day in 2001.
Every time.
When Cheese TV was not on.
Too soon, Liam. Too soon. Toaster TV was no replacement.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Ugh.
Okay, episode 35.
The year is 732 or some shit.
Ambition and Determination is the name of this episode.
We open.
It's
Midamaya.
Midamaya and Ruintal, and as predicted last time, they are driving out to where the 2 fortresses fought each other, and they encounter Mueller's fleet limping along in defeat.
Yep.
And like, it's Mueller, let's rescue him. Here come those other idiots that Yang didn't want to chase after Mueller's fleet, but did. Let's kill them all!
So they do.
Yep.
Mueller's so fucked up and he's like, yeah, we lost everything.
Yeah, he's got a hero-style 2 bandages around his forehead with a red badge of courage leaking through.
And he's just lying in his bed being like, yeah, no, we lost. We just lost.
We got super fucked up.
Midamaya is angry.
Midamaya's
filled with rage.
We get a slow pan across Midamaya's officers standing on his bridge before his command pyramid. And
it's just a very good way of describing it.
He's on this sort of ziggurat of stairs on his bridge. And just one of them has this enormous chin. I just could not take my eyes off it, so I actually missed all of the dialogue that was happening during this slow pan.
It's a Bruce Campbell level chin. Yeah.
Classic butt chin.
Yeah. But he names these 4 guys. I don't care what their names are.
Baerline, Bureau, Drusen, Zinsa.
It's like, okay, sure, we're never going to meet them again, but alright.
We might.
Ooh, maybe.
And Ruenthal has much the same reaction.
Yeah. So both of them are like,
Ah,
Kempf is dead.
Kemp is dead.
Oh. I thought there was going to be a lot more. Oh, Kempf is dead.
Anyway, and then, yeah, I don't really think we need to dwell on it, but those other
No.
two guys get totally owned
Yep.
by Mittermeier and Ruenthal, and then Yang's fleet comes up and is like, oh no,
Oh, but
they just got totally owned.
Yeah, we do have that one great bit of that guy being like, they're surrounding us. How could they?
Yeah, that was one of the alliance thing. Here we see him explode.
Oh, it's so good. So the Empire is just all like, well, we completely lost.
Yep.
But you know what? Mittermeier and Ruenthal, they won.
Yep.
So that's a
At
victory.
that point, Yang rolls up, sees them having achieved their objective, departing. Is like, see, Julian, that's what a good officer does. They go into
Do the thing.
with a clear objective,
Clear agenda.
achieve it, and then leave.
There's actionable next steps, and they are, get the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going for glory. They're not going for, the fortress. They're just in and out. Clean mission.
An exchange between Mittermeier and Ruenthal on whether to withdraw. Mm-hmm. It's best not to be greedy. Look at it this way. We moved our fortress and our fleet across several thousand light years, and we have nothing to show for it.
That's it. Let's go.
Yep.
This whole battle was a wash. We're out of here.
Easy peasy.
And then the meetings
The
begin.
meetings begin.
There is literally no more space battles for the rest of these 2 episodes.
No.
It's just people talking non-stop about various
Yeah.
topics.
So, a brief discussion between Yang and...
Not Julian. Old guy. Mercats.
Mercats.
Yep.
Yeah, we got there.
I remembered a name for
Where
once.
they're like, Julian is such a good budding soldier. And Yang is like, but I never wanted him to be a soldier.
If we wanted that, we would put him in there, but we don't want that. He's too young.
Yep.
Too ferocious.
And then we get into the meat of the episode where it's Phezzan. It's Rupert Kesselink, who is, we've referred to him in the past as Player 2 Oberstein.
Yep.
And Adrian Rubinsky.
AKA the most savage hottie in the universe.
And we learn some serious soap opera drama between these two in this scene.
So, what's his name? Kesselink is all like, alright, I've done the deed. I'm gonna go now.
They're talking about their plans to undermine the alliance and get in good with the Empire.
Yeah.
And
There's a whole bunch of stuff, whatever.
yeah.
And then, as he's about to leave, Rubinsky's like, by the way, you can take tomorrow off. It's your mother's death day, I believe.
But I didn't realize you paid such close attention to my personal affairs.
He slowly turns around like any classic soap opera and just goes, yes, only your father would know such a thing.
I've got the quote here, actually.
Oh, yes, here we go. We both heard this and went, what?
So, Kesselink says, I didn't expect your excellency to be so concerned with my private affairs. And he says, it's only natural, considering who provided half your bloodline.
And we were both like,
And
what?
Kessellink's like, so you knew? And they talk about how, like, when Rubinsky was younger, he had a choice between, like, Kessellink's mother, a penniless woman, and some other woman who, was
could
rich
secure
and
him.
influential.
Yeah, living the Phezzan dream.
Yeah.
And, he picked her.
But once Kesselink graduated university, he got a Nepo baby position in the Phezzani administration, but he still has good skills, and it's a very cutthroat libertarian lifestyle in Phezzan.
Yep.
So he's not going to ascend without having skills and influence and charisma.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Adrian Rubinsky is all like, I wouldn't just have you here if you were my son. You have to, earn your place, kind of vaguely like that. And Kessling's all like, I've got skills. I take pride in my work.
The position of leader of Phezzan isn't hereditary. To become my successor, you don't need a bloodline. Just real skills and charisma.
What is this accent?
I don't know. I feel like that's how Avdol talks about Dio.
Ah.
Then Kesselink goes outside and is like, but father, you did all sorts of underhanded things to become the land's share, didn't you? Do not forget, I am your son. And he gets in his car and drives away while looking up at the window. And then looking down at him from the security cameras is Rubinsky being like, aha, you truly are my son.
It's just, what a twist.
Yeah.
What an absolute twist.
What an absolute, and dare I say, unnecessary twist.
Yeah. Like, at what point did we need to have Rubinsky have a son? What if he can't leave Phezzan because of his son? The Earth cult wants him to go back to Earth, but he's like, no, but my son. No, he'd leave. He'd drop that shit like a hot potato. Never mind.
I don't think he's really like an Earth cult true believer either.
You think he's just using the Earth cult because they're using him because he's using them? Yeah.
Transactional relationship.
Yeah, parasitic almost.
Yeah. Oh, and the actual meat of what they were talking about policy-wise is that they were basically going to burn Shaft, the guy who spearheaded the Move the Fortress to fight the other Fortress campaign, and forge or fabricate some documents to have him destroyed.
And lo, that plan might come to pass.
And it does.
In literally the very next scene.
Nope.
Yeah, this is the scene. Damn it, this isn't the scene.
Reinhardt is talking with Hildegard about the nature of power. It's all very Season 1 Game of Thrones. Where does power reside, Mr. Stark? With the church? With the king?
Power comes from the earth, doesn't it?
Power comes from the north. And the winter. And the winter which is coming.
I'm talking more in a metaphorical sense, Ned. Do you think maybe power can be attained by the young people?
No, I think that the young people are easily misled by the wiles of social media.
Again, more metaphorical here. More metaphorical, Ned. Do you think power can be attained?
I think that power can be seized through a corrupt regime recently installed.
Ah, Ned, you're never going to change, are you? Kill that man.
That's pretty much how it went down.
Yep. So, fucking...
Ned Stark.
Yeah, Ned Stark's chatting with
Reinhardt
Robert Baratheon.
once again lays out his philosophy, his succession policy of come at the king, you best not miss.
Yeah, he's literally like, listen, I don't need to have kids, alright? If someone comes and backstabs me, they can try it. That's good.
Why, the only person I would want to raise a kid with is gone.
Yeah, so you know what that means? Death is the only solution.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, there's no reason that my kids need to take after me. Someone should try and seize power from me. Power should be seized, not given. But, well, if they fail, they know what will happen to them.
Yeah.
And I'll let that knowledge hold them at bay for a little while yet.
Yeah. And wouldn't you know, he hasn't been assassinated yet.
It's working for him.
Yeah. So there were a couple guys that tried to kill him, and guess what? They missed. So they just talk about that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, then Oberstein comes in and says that Mittermeier and Ruenthal are back and the fortress was defeated.
Longram gets very
Kempf
angry.
lost 90% of his forces.
What? How many ships came back?
Over 1,800,000 troops are dead or wounded.
Okay, that's... Okay. Fuck, I didn't realise that number was that high.
700 ships returned.
So, Lowengram very angrily storms out of the room into his private chambers.
And clutches his little amulet and looks at Kirkeis's hair.
And we both were like, Kirkeis, give me strength.
There's so much what would Kirkeis do in these 2 episodes from so many different characters. And this is the first one of those moments.
Literally everyone is like, oh, that Kirkeis, he was so good. If only he was still alive.
Reinhardt looks down at the thing and is like, men like Mueller are hard to find. I should stop risking his life in pointless battles. That's a good thing to do, right, Kirkeis? And he looks at the ghostly image of Kirkeis in his mind, who says, "Hi, Your Excellency!"
And he's like, oh, Kirkeis! And then he disappears.
Yep.
Oh, too soon.
Then there's the audience where Mueller throws himself on Reinhardt's mercy and receives it.
Yep.
It's not his fault he lost the battle, just make sure he wins the next one.
And he's all like, you're too generous.
And then, you're so generous. And now I bodily collapse and start bleeding out on the floor.
Yeah, the whole time while Mueller's like bowing down, he's bleeding from his forehead.
His head wound is getting worse.
And then he just sort of collapses and everyone's like, get him out of here.
Yeah. And while you're out of here, Kessler, Kessler was of course the guy who went to Victorian England planet to meet his childhood sweetheart.
Yep.
And whose father was like, hey, you should take her away from here before it gets really bad. When we abandon this planet to the Alliance and take all the food away. Kessler has become head of the secret police.
As one is to do.
Yep, when one is a fascist. Kessler, take Shaft and, I don't know, throw him in a big dungeon or something.
And Shaft's like, wait, what do you mean? What's going on? He's like, well, we found these forged documents / not forged documents because we don't know they're forged, but
So
you know
it's-
they're forged, right?
Tax evasion, breach of trust, and betraying military secrets are what they charge him with.
And Shaft is like, I didn't do any of those. I'm just a normal guy.
What are the charges? Enjoying my tax? My succulent income tax?
Take him out of here. Smash his head on the door.
Yep. And Mecklinger gets the job of going to inform Kemp's family that he's dead, and he opens the door, and they all immediately start weeping without any words being exchanged, and his kids are like, Mother! Mother, we'll definitely kill Yang Wenli. Definitely.
I'm going to grow up and stab his eyes.
I'll get him, one of them says. And Mecklinger just leaves.
Yeah, he just turns
He
around
didn't even
and
need to say a word.
he's so charismatic.
And there's that takes us to the next scene, which is a very sort of, again, season 1 or 2 of Game of Thrones, Littlefinger and Varys exchange.
Oh, is this the one with Oberstein?
Oberstein and Hildegard.
Yep.
Just in the corridor where Oberstein approaches her and is like, "You didn't tell His Excellency to take mercy on Mueller, did you?" And she says, "No, and he would only listen to Kirkheis anyway."
And Oberstein's like,
"Yes.
Noted.
We should all consider what would Kirkheis do."
And as he's walking away, Hildegard's all like, does he think Lowengram is just a tool for his Machiavellian schemes?
And she starts staring out the window, being like, "I must fight to keep him a normal human person."
These times are hard.
If all it took to win was wanting it, no one would have to work hard. If only Kirkheis were still alive. Direct quote.
God damn it. Everyone wishes Kirkheis was still alive.
His death was truly the great tragedy of the space era.
Yeah. We all know about Lowengram killing the Kaiser and all that, but what about Kirkheis?
Lowengram didn't kill the Kaiser.
Wait, who killed the Kaiser?
The Kaiser died of old age off screen.
Did he? I thought... okay, never mind.
We all know about Lowengram killing the Kaiser.
Listen, we all know what happened with Lowengram killing that. Look, Lowengram definitely,
Are you thinking of Lichtenlard, the
Oh,
Secretary
maybe.
of State,
Yeah, maybe.
who he didn't kill but did depose and arrest?
Yeah. And then the other one was killed by his own man.
Braunschweig?
Yeah. Wario.
Wario. Yeah.
Wario. Yeah. Anyway.
Another interesting corridors of power discussion. That's all these 2 episodes are, really. It's Ruenthal and Mittermeier, and they're talking like, do we still support Lowengram, even though he doesn't confer any power or rewards on his loyal followers?
Yeah, that sounds almost like corporate greed.
So they talk about how Mueller wasn't punished for being involved in that failure, but people don't get rewarded substantially under him either. We're just convenient disposable tools.
And Mittermeier is all like, you aren't saying what I think you're saying, are you?
But last autumn, when Kirkheis died and the prince was beside himself, you were the one who said we must rally his spirits. And he said, yeah, well, I meant that back then, but...
These days, I've grown.
Who knows?
I'm a new man.
We haven't reached that point yet, but the time may come when I'll regret my choice. Sip.
Ooh. Is there a growing divide between Mittermeier and Ruenthal?
Maybe. The 2 best friends?
Now become the 2 worst friends.
Oh my god. And then Mittermeier stalks off and Ruenthal stays and thinks and says to himself, could I take the universe? People love to take the universe.
What could that mean? So as as Mittermeier's walking out, he's like, this world, maybe the Free People's Alliance,
Free Planets Alliance.
the Free Planets Alliance really does have something good going for it.
I wonder what Yang Wenli's doing right now. He's probably sleeping with some beautiful woman.
And then we hard cut to Yang Wenli sneezing because he got a cold.
He's sick, and Julian is making him
a hot punch.
Hot punch, but it's honey and lemon in mulled wine mixed with hot water. But there's this whole thing where Yang is like, just bring me the wine. And Julian scolds him and acts like he's not going to do that, but does in fact just bring him hot mulled wine.
No, he adds the other stuff as well.
No, Yang takes a sip and has a delighted reaction, implying that it is just the mulled wine.
No, because we see him add the stuff in. We watch him make the full thing, because he pours in the wine and he adds in the juices afterwards. It'll happen. There you go. So he pours those in and he's all like, here you go.
Maybe the whole thing just tastes good.
Yeah, it just tastes good. He's like, actually, this is pretty good. So then we have a very long conversation about how, yes, Yang didn't want to be...
And Julian wants to be a soldier.
Yeah, and, who raised up Julian, who, he never had a good father figure, yada, yada, yada. But, ultimately, he can do what he wants,
He wants to formally enlist now, which apparently he hasn't already done, despite being in 2 space battles.
Yeah.
And killing thousands of people when he blew up that capital ship.
Yeah. He's just, voluntarily enlisted, but not formally
I guess
enlisted.
he was a cadet or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how the military allows that, but sure. So then, Yang's all like, listen, mankind has a lot of history, and we keep making history, because past is just history.
He says there's 2 kinds of violence. Violence to control and oppress, and violence as a means of liberation. And armies often have to do the bad kind.
Yeah, because every time in history, when people begin using violence... very rarely will the state side with
The
them.
army side with the people.
Yeah. The army usually sides with
The state.
the state, who then destroys the oppression.
And the army itself becomes the state and uses its violence to control the people.
Indeed.
But Yang, you're a soldier and you just opposed that very thing. Yeah, well, I'm Yang Wenli.
I never wanted to be a soldier.
I wanted to be a historian because history teaches us that the pen is mightier than the sword, and he goes on.
Yeah. It's a long-winded way of being all like, historians are so much cooler than soldiers.
Yeah. The pen can impeach the dictator of 100 years ago, or the tyrant of 1,000 years ago. I'm very cynical about this, given the contemporary geopolitical environment.
Yes. Maybe Starship Troopers had a point.
Speak on that.
Violence is the solution to gaining power, and anyone who's like, hey, you know what, maybe violence isn't the answer, unfortunately, gets crushed underfoot by the ones who are like, we'll just shoot you. It's like, cool, that's a terrible reality.
I think that was a very primary school level articulation of that, but I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically Starship Troopers in a nutshell. It's just like, yeah, war crimes are good because we're using violence, and that dude over there, the ethics officer, isn't. But we use violence and we're in control. Yeah.
Yulian, would you make me another cup of hot wine? I mean hot punch.
And Yulian's all like, I would never, and then goes and makes one.
Yeah. Then we cut to two random guys.
We've never seen them before.
Two random alliance politicos being like, so you want to make Yang retire, huh? But you worry that if he retires, he might enter politics and challenge your power, huh?
Oh, well, we have no need to worry about him.
Well, why don't you just make a law so that he can't?
Oh, well, we couldn't possibly make a law. We couldn't possibly...
Can't you?
Oh, well, I mean, don't tempt me, mate.
Then we cut to one of those, educational animations, and that's how I became a law.
I'm pretty sure this whole scene is just being like, we should just pass a law that means that, Yang can't.
We're passing the no
state.
Yang Wenli's law.
Yeah.
We're allowed to have one.
And the other guy's all like, we can't just do that, can we?
Meanwhile, Boris Konev, who I think is the blonde Phezzan asset that was sent to the Alliance at the end of the last arc that we never saw again, is in the same bar being like, oh, I hate when the Alliance makes us do stuff. Meetings to discuss military spending kickbacks and things to drag Yang down. I hate to work for the government.
Working in an office.
Yep. And that's the end of that scene.
Yep. No more to come.
Meanwhile, another thing that seemingly goes nowhere right now, the sickly Baron Heinrich von Kunmel, the guy who has the Victorian wasting disease that the artistic admiral visited a few episodes ago,
Mecklinger, that brought him that painting.
Yep.
That he was like, it's gorgeous.
He's lying in his palatial bed in his palatial manse, being like, I'm so sickly, but what of my legacy? I've got to do something drastic.
And that's a wrap on him.
Yeah. And then the actual plot of this arc starts when... Do you remember a couple of episodes ago, Rupert Kesselink of the Phezzan Dominion engaged a couple of conspirators. Schumacher, the guy who killed Flegel from the Lipstadt Alliance.
Yeah.
And some shitty former Lipstadt Alliance
author
who is now taking refuge in Phezzan.
Yeah, the shitty poet.
Yeah. There's a lot of discussion about him in the next two episodes, and they keep calling him the bungling poet.
He's just such a shit poet.
And he looks like one of those Flegels with the JPEG dragged in one direction.
He's got the bowl cut, he's got the long face. Doesn't have the shit-stirring attitude, but he's almost there.
Anyway, they have been activated, and they are travelling back into Imperial space with passports issued by the Phezzan Empire. I really like the look of Schumacher's passport, which says his name is Ferdinand Turkey, because it's a conventional-looking space passport, but then it shoots out a little hologram of him from the photo.
Oh, I see. I didn't notice that.
I like that little space technology.
Yeah, just to make you be like, oh, that's him. Good little bust.
I also like that it's hard-backed. It's like
so
made of plastic or something.
Yeah. It's not like those floppy passports you get today.
I love retro future technology.
You just want things that are like stiff.
I think a lot about the basically the like future credit card Yang used in a previous episode to hail a cab, which was basically like a bank card with a little flashing light on the end.
That specifically was just for that one purpose.
Hailed a self-driving car.
Yeah. Oh man. Where did we go so wrong? We could have had this future.
Yeah. And that's the end of the first episode.
Second episode.
Second
we open.
episode. Oh, there's a historical narration. Settle in, guys.
So
It talks about the office of the Premier of the Empire, which is kind of an informal position, the highest, like, civilian administrator, which ever since the 31st Kaiser, Otto Fried III, acted as the Premier himself, has been an informal position carried out by the acting Premier because other subjects didn't want to hold themselves up to the Kaiser.
of course.
Up until recently, Marquis Klaus von Lichtenlard was the Premier, but of course Reinhard did away with him.
After that whole Lippenstadt disaster.
Yep. And now, the current Premier, a subject who is also the Imperial Fleet Supreme Commander, is the most powerful man in history.
Why, that's Lohengrin.
Oh my god.
He's both the Premier and the Admiral.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. And then Mariendorf walks in and is all like, hey, bad news.
Yeah, Kessler wants to meet with you.
So...
Kessler is, of course, secret policeman.
Yep. And Kessler walks in and is all like, hey,
Oh, hang on,
bad
there
news.
is, of course, a long meandering conversation about how it looks like it's gonna rain.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. This whole thunderstorm metaphor thing.
The Weather Bureau predicts there might be a thunderstorm. Yes. You know, historians compared Rudolph I's temper to thunder. But I think that thunder is a big waste of energy. It creates light and sound and heat, but it's not directed.
I think there's room in storytelling for thunder as a motif.
As a subtle metaphor.
As a subtle metaphor for ambition. I think you're ambitious, Lohengrin.
Well, it's not for ambition, it's for reckless wielding of unchecked power.
But I reckon there's room to use it for ambition as well. He's already got... Okay, I need to bring this up. He already has giant lion banners in his, like, throne office.
Yeah.
He's wearing a cape with fucking pauldrons on it.
Yeah.
And he's got, like, all sorts of just random, you know,
Secret
like...
police and-
Well, I was going to say, like, swords and iconography of, like, power.
Yeah, he's in his, Reformation, what's the word? Regency era palace.
Yeah.
With, like, his Roman pillars.
And it's just like, yeah, we're good. Like, we're good, yeah? You're bad, we're good. We're good.
We all wear black uniforms with silver trim. That means we're good.
We're good, okay? We're good. We're fashionable, thank you very much.
And just because our space helmets look like skulls doesn't mean we're bad guys.
Was it... Okay, hold on. Louis Vuitton was the maker of the Nazi...
No, I don't think so.
No, it was someone...
I don't recall who.
The fashion guy. Do you think back then everyone looked at those uniforms and went, I mean, look, like, damn.
I mean, that was the point, right?
Yeah, to look fashionable.
Because previously they were just a bunch of dickheads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were dickheads,
Yeah,
but...
they looked like it.
Yeah, but now when people...
It's lending an air of credibility and authority
And fashion
to the people who will kill you.
So does that mean that, like, potentially...
It's all propaganda.
Yeah, if Balenciaga was like, I'm making the uniforms for the new secret police of this, you know, tyrannical regime, we'd be like...
Are you talking about...
I don't know which regime I'm talking about, but just if you subbed out, you know, fashion designer X for Balenciaga in the space year 732.
Oh, I thought you were talking about current day.
Oh no, I don't know any secret police now. That defeats the whole point of the secret police. But if we put Balenciaga in here, everyone would be like, you know what? Those admirals, they do look quite fetching, you know?
I mean, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to say here.
Well, it's weird. Like, look at, because we are obviously so far divorced of the time period of, you know, when we grow up, we're like, yeah, that's what fashion was in the 2000s and stuff. Like, we kind of get it in the 2000s. But looking back, you're like, oh, historically, that's what the mad, evil Nazi regime looked like. So it's all associated there. But at the time, when you saw that, you would have probably gone, oh, actually, that looks pretty cool. They look pretty cool in those uniforms, right? I don't know where this is going.
I really don't know what you're trying to say.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Point being, the Admiralty might just have, like, cool, sick, fashion-made uniforms, maybe? In this, like, timeline of Legend of Galactic Heroes? It just occurred to me that maybe that's a thing that's happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So every time
the autocratic state has an engaged fashion designers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe Mecklinger was like, no, this will not do. Listen, we need black, silver trim, but I want
Slimming.
I need it to look like I've lost 10 pounds, okay?
Vertical lines, drawing the eye upward.
It makes it look as though we're above people, you know, like angels.
Yeah, give me some big high heels too.
Listen, while we're at it, can we add skulls? They seem good.
Everyone has one.
Yeah, so why wouldn't we put more
It's a
outside
symbol
of
of
us?
universal.
Of youth and rebirth, you know? And why not? What about knives?
Okay, now you're going.
Yeah.
You're just gonna.
It's 40k.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all on 40k now. Shit. I'm just thinking of like a Star Wars version of this now. What about
Everyone in Star Wars just wears bathrobes.
what about like lines? Have we got any leather lying around?
And rings are really in for women's hair right now.
Yeah, oh, love rings. Have we got any really, really small amounts of metal that we can just put into their hair for no reason, just to put it there, because it looks cool?
And on Naboo right now, it's really fashionable to paint your face white like a geisha.
I reckon everyone should queen.
Everyone should queen.
Everyone should dress.
Like Jar Jar Binks.
I was going to say Queen Amidala. Just, you know, for no reason other than, I don't know, like maybe avoiding
she was a fashion
assassination
icon.
attempts. Yeah. Would she?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, all right. I'd believe it. Oh, man. Anyway, so, yeah. That's my 2 cents.
I was about to say something that was going to get too real, and then it depressed me, so I didn't say it.
Good. I'm glad that you didn't say it. I'm not sure.
Well, it just would have bummed me out.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. We're not about bumming it. We're about good vibes here.
Listeners, it's not good right now. I'm trying not to dwell on our dumb jokes comedy podcast, but I know it's coming through because we're doing a show that's ultimately about
Space Nazis.
a fascist state versus a populist state.
Yeah. Oh, it's too real. But at the same time, this also has a man wielding an axe being like, hey, you motherfuckers want to come at me?
Yeah. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
It's just that this one was about meetings, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. So, Kessler gives Lowengram the skinny on,
Phezzan's scheme.
yeah.
The two lads are coming
Alfred
in.
von Landsberg and Schumacher being like, an anonymous informant has let us know that those two defectors have come back. They're probably scheming something.
An anonymous informant, how interesting.
It was probably Phezzan, they say.
So, yeah, they just get the rundown on this is this guy, this is this other guy, they're here, they're using fake IDs. We don't know what they're doing exactly.
But we are surveilling them.
Yeah.
And Reinhardt says, keep surveilling them.
So then Reinhardt and Mariendorf have a very long hypothetical discussion around like, well, hypothetically, if Phezzan did send them in, they could hypothetically be coming in to do this.
They could be trying to assassinate you, but no, they quickly rule that out.
Yep, they could be trying to kill or kidnap the Kaiser.
Yeah, so they identify 3 potential targets for an act of terrorism that they plan on doing.
Yeah. Because they don't want to assert the state, clearly.
Yeah. And because they had genuine Phezzan papers, they're here as agents of the Phezzan government, so Phezzan's got some interest in this, which we can use to deduce their motivations.
Yeah. So they're not going to assassinate Lowengram.
No, because Lowengram's policies are currently benefiting them, and the uncertainty his death would create could...
Yeah. They're not trying to kill the Kaiser, because that would be ridiculous. And they're not trying to go for the Sylph.
Yeah, so Mariendorf does suggest they might be trying to kidnap or harm Countess Anna Rose Gruenwald.
Countess Anna Grunwald, that's my sister.
Yeah.
I'll fucking
And
kill
he
those
immediately
bastards.
goes on this protracted rant, being like, if they harm her, I'll make them suffer more pain than anyone has ever suffered. And she's like, whoa.
I'll create new torture methods that no man has ever thought of. It's like, don't do that.
I'll make them spend a day in the same room as Oberstein.
I'll make them play video games with Oberstein. Then they'll know true horror. I'll make them listen to Mecklinger's poetry. Actually, no, that's
Because that
that's
one
good.
guy likes poetry,
Yeah.
and he's bad at it.
I'll make them
They
listen.
keep calling him the bungling poet in
Yeah,
this scene.
I'll make them listen to Mittermeier's poetry.
Yeah. I'll make them listen to Ruenthal's poetry about how much he hates women.
I'll make them listen to Mittermeier's fanfic about myself and Kirkeiss that I confiscated off of him.
But keep close to my heart at all times.
You see this locket? It contains 1 page from that book.
So, abduction. Either
The Sylph,
the Sylph, Reinhardt himself, or the Kaiser.
which they think is the most likely.
Yes.
Yeah. Because what they could do is they could kidnap the Kaiser, who's just a young child,
Yeah.
allow him to set up his own kind of weird vassal state.
And this is exposited later, but we may as well just get into it.
Yeah, it's like this weird kind of vassal state idea, but it's obviously not legitimized because, he's not, the
He's a
Empire.
child.
Yeah, he's a kid, it's not the Empire, but it's over there, and Phezzan could use it to allow...
Hang on, I do want to... the line Reinhardt says, and I've captured in my photo notes, So they talk about the bungling poet's motivation.
Yeah.
They say, to him this isn't abduction, it's the act of a loyal retainer who rescues his infant master from the hands of the enemy. They wouldn't have to talk him into it, he'd be happy to do it. And Reinhardt says, that's fine for the bungling poet, but behind it all, once again, is the Black Fox of Phezzan. That man never dances himself. He just plays the flute from the shadows of the curtains.
God, I forgot about that line. I wish
We love it when the Black Fox of Phezzan plays the flute from the shadows of the curtains.
I wish everyone could reference me as the Black Fox that plays the flute from behind the curtains. Like, what the fuck is he trying to say here?
It's like when they in part 1 of JoJo's dub, when Dio was stalking through the Joestar Manor hunting Jonathan, they added in this like elaborate thing where he was like, "You're hiding behind the curtains like Polonius in Hamlet, aren't you, Jonathan?"
What? I'm just thinking.
Needlessly elaborate literary references.
I'm just thinking, if you could have like one of these ridiculous titles, what would you have?
That's a really good question.
Because like, you know, you could have any kind of literary references, or just like, yes, the orange bulwark.
Yeah, how does someone become the Black Fox of Phezzan or the Gale Wolf?
I'm pretty sure it's like a mix of some kind of event that defines
Some sort of defining...
Yeah. Where it's like, you know, if you have like...
You've proved yourself.
Yeah, Archibald the Terrifying got his name because he's, you know, fucking terrifying and kills people. Or like, you know, Vlad the Impaler because he impales people. Or...
I feel like I'm like the skittish raccoon or something.
Skittish raccoon.
Yeah.
Liam Smith, the skittish raccoon. Liam Smith, the skittish raccoon. Hiding in the veil of the back walls.
He's nervous, but he uses his tools well, and he washes his food.
Gathering his nuts of intrigue in his nest of political schemes. He awaits the winter to end, so that the summer of his actualization may begin.
And what about yourself?
I'd be... okay. I think I have 2 possible ones.
Okay.
I'd be Nick the mindless something.
The mindless.
Because I can't remember anything. So whenever I do things, it'd be like wholehearted, go in there, do it because I don't remember what was bad about it. I'll be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do it. The mindless...
Like a shark, because the shark has to keep moving forward at all times.
Yeah, the mindless shark, always smelling blood in the water and ready
Always
to pounce. Yeah. Forever eating. Oh god, it's too real. Or maybe just like Nick, the silent brick.
Silent brick thrown through your window without making a sound.
Sitting at home, hopefully avoiding any and all responsibility thrown at him.
The big worm guy.
Nick, the giant sandworm who reads, but doesn't because he has no eyes. But he does have those 3-pronged mouth things, which is cool. Yeah.
Since it's come up, I will just share one quote from the Forbes interview I'm planning to get into next time.
Oh god.
Because I think it might antagonize you.
Antagonize me? Please, don't tell me he doesn't like Dune. Don't.
This is a line from the writer of the article.
Okay.
So this is from the Forbes article. Japanese sci-fi novelist Yoshiki Tanaka. I love to imagine alternate realities. Blah, blah, blah. It's the juxtaposition between the detail and the galactic setting that gives this series such an epic scope, to the extent that it makes Frank Herbert's Dune feel somewhat provincial.
Okay.
The thing is, Tanaka's novels all have this huge scope, coupled with both political intrigue and intricate strategy. It's what has made his work so compelling for his readers.
Okay. Alright. Who wrote this?
Ollie Barda.
You listen here, Ollie. Alright? You little shitlord. I'll come at you. Although, to be fair...
And if you come at the king...
You best not miss. To be fair, Frank Herbert, at about the 4th book, I was like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about this anymore. Where it's like, you know, men were never meant to like other men. You're like, all right, Frank, let's pull this back a bit.
Duncan Idaho, who everyone's meant to like.
Oh, everyone loves Duncan Idaho. You can't keep your eyes off him.
Big 10-gallon hat.
He is a beautiful man.
Cowboy.
Is he a cowboy?
His name's Duncan Idaho. How can he not be a cowboy?
Well, I mean, he's a cowboy in terms of, like, how chill he is in all circumstances. But he's not, like, a literal cowboy. He's a cyborg clone guy.
Well, so am I, but you don't see me bragging about it.
Where are your cool, clear, cybernetic eyes?
God, I want to see him use his eye lasers so bad. Every time. Just kill someone with them.
So anyway, Our boys who are in a Phezzan hotel right now.
Yep, it's
Our scheming
it's the
treason
bungling
lads.
poet Schumacher and some nerd from Phezzan.
Yeah. And they are just sort of chatting.
Yeah, the poet is like, I can't even remember his name. It's not
Grimoire or something?
Landsbert or something.
Landsbert, I don't know. Anyway, so they're just chatting. They're like,
You're
oh,
thinking of Gruenwald Fortress.
I'm probably thinking of Grimoire Fortress.
He's sitting there and they're staring at the rain coming down, which is symbolism. And he's like, the poet is all, it's good to have delicious imperial beer again. Phezzan beer just can't compare. And the guy from the hotel is like, excuse me, but this is actually Phezzan beer brewed in a brewery owned by Phezzan, as is this hotel, which is why we can have our private conversations here. And then he makes this rictus grin, realizes he's made it awkward, and says, well, I'll get going.
Yep. And so he just leaves the room immediately. Mm-hmm. The other guy, who looks very serious at this point, Schumacher, looks very serious, is like, I'll be right back.
I'm just going outside for a moment. I may be some time.
I'm going for a walk in the beautiful sunshine.
Yep. Strolls into the elevator, which has one of those old-fashioned cage doors rather than
But you
sleek,
don't
modern
Yeah, but you don't
doors.
have to pull it, I don't think.
No, he does.
Is he? Oh, he is. Never mind. I thought it was automated. I was like, oh,
God,
that's
the
nice.
fucking Phezzan can't even afford automated lift doors.
This hotel is run
We
by...
call them lifts.
Ah. Wait, do we?
Sure.
Yeah, right. So Schumacher...
He walks in, and he just walks right on up to the guy, slams his hand against the wall next to his head, pulls out a gun, and jams it up into his chin, and is like, hey, you're not gonna fuck me, are you?
And this guy's like, well, based on the first half of what happened, I thought we might, but now that you've got the gun...
He's got cool, like, letterboxing around his eyes, so that he looks more sinister. And I turned to you, Nick, and said when we were watching, oh, this guy fucking rules.
Yeah, you were immediately like, this is a man
This
of
is, of
action.
course, the man who killed Flagel, the man we all hated.
Yep. Because, he was like, well, I can't do anything here now, and I have to run away.
you to talk. Commissioner Baltic told you something else, didn't he?
Well, I mean, I would never admit to anything like that. There's nothing that, we would possibly...
Shut up. And then he goes on this rant. Upon my return to Odin, I noticed that society has changed, and it's being reformed in a good direction. And if this plan succeeds, and if Prince Lohengram's downfall is successful, maybe that will bring about a reversal of history. Oh no.
Life being
It's like, tell me what Phezzan really wants.
So then I think he spills the beans that it's like, listen, all we want is for Phezzan to come out on top, but the Empire doesn't need to change. We want good things for the Empire. We even want to become part of the Empire, They're great guys. We don't need to be the enemies here, Phezzan's all good.
And Schumacher even says, I hope you're not thinking of leaking our scheme to the Empire, right? And he says, no, of course not, which is, of course, exactly what's happened already.
He absolutely is like, Phezzan is 100% on board with you. We want good things for the Empire.
I'm just doing this for the safety of my subordinates on Phezzan. That's the last duty to them. I'm a soldier. I want to create a sort of outer heaven where my soldiers can live without fear of persecution.
Why are we here? Just to drink mulled wine?
I saw a really good comic from someone I see do some good video games comics recently.
Yeah.
Where it's Punished Venom Snake doing the diamond dust of his cremated colleagues.
Oh yeah.
Rubbing it on his face thing. Yeah. And it's him doing that scene, and he's holding the urn of ash, and it's cutting to Kaz and Ocelot being like, please don't eat it, please don't eat it, please don't eat it. And he reaches his hand into it, and they're panicking, and they're panicking, and they're panicking, and he rubs it on their face, and they're like,
oh, amazing. Oh no.
It's a good bit.
Yeah. So after that whole situation is diffused, Schumacher's all like, alright.
Yep. Meanwhile, Hildegard von Mariendorf is visiting Kirkeiser's grave and being like, oh, Kirkeiser, what would you do if you were still here?
If only he was still alive.
Anyway, time to go visit Reinhardt's sister.
So they're gonna go visit the Sylph?
Yep.
It's time.
She's living in her palatial mountain manor.
She still exists. So Mariendorf walks up a hill, I guess, sees this beautiful...
How apt for her name.
How beautiful...
Hildegard.
Ah, Hildegard, because they're sending guards to guard
The
hill. Hill of guard.
Hill to guard.
Yeah, hill
That's
to
the
guard.
hill to guard, Mariendorf.
Ah, it all makes sense now. This is the kind of world building that our boy is renowned for. It makes Dune seem
Provincial.
provincial.
The provincial planet of Arrakis is nothing compared to the beauty of Odin.
Exactly.
Or, dare I say, even... We've both forgotten the name of it.
Heineken?
Heineken.
Heineken. Yep.
You know, Heineken is actually a brewery that's owned and operated by Phezzan.
And we can talk about it because this whole planet is owned by
well, my
Phezzan.
apartment is actually administered by Phezzan.
Oh,
that's why we can speak privately like this.
Is that why Rubinsky's over there having sex with that random woman in the corner? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's my father, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. God, what a fucking god. So...
The Sylph. She's
The Sylph.
radiant.
Yeah.
It's the golden hour. It's the best hour for shooting cinema. And
who's
Conrad
this guy?
von Moder is there. And I'm pretty sure we met two Conrads at the dying days of the Lipstadt War that Reinhard fought.
Okay.
In one of the ships, one of the Lipstadt Alliance ships that was blown up because of their negligence, the commander's negligence.
Yep.
Remember the Waluigi one?
I know exactly who you mean. Yeah.
He fired on his own ships to get them out of the way
Yeah,
as he was
yeah, yeah,
retreating.
yeah.
Young Conrad von Moder here
Is the
was
son of...
no
Okay.
was the younger of two Conrads that survived that explosion. And the older Conrad way later went on to suicide bomb Waluigi.
Oh, because he was under the thing that fell on him.
Yeah, and he was like, "What's your name? I'm Conrad von Moder, sir. I'm here to be
That's right.
a cadet or some shit."
Yeah.
Wow, my name's Conrad too. I guess we'll be the best of friends.
Yeah, and then he went on to...
Blow himself up.
Yep.
And
now this
Conrad
is
von
the
Moder
other
apparently
Conrad.
went to become the personal attaché of the Sylph.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure it's him.
Okay, you think... Okay, sure, I'll believe it.
Yep.
So he comes out, he's all like, hello, it's me, Conrad von Moder.
I'm Gavroche.
For some reason, I thought that was going to be I'm Gaston.
I was doing the Les Mis thing, but I lost the energy as soon as I started.
So the Sylph is all like, please, go back inside. Mariendorf, come on in.
He's all that's left of Moder's family. I was entrusted with him, so I'm taking care of him.
Yeah, like these pots.
They go in, and Hildegard is there to say that Reinhardt wants to post some guards around in a unobtrusive
V formation.
fashion.
Yeah.
In a V formation.
The V formation.
Flying V.
Yeah, the entire back of the house is actually already safe enough. It's just the front that needs guarded.
Yeah.
And the Sylph is like, don't mock
I don't
me.
deserve guards because there was once a boy named Siegfried Kirkeis, and I said, Sieg, look after my brother. And now I'm imagining the two of them. And Reinhardt has beautiful angel wings, and he's hoisting Kirkeis up by his hand.
This is a real thing that happened.
Yes.
Literally, they animated the two of them as angels, but Kirkeis didn't have wings. So Lohengram
Lifted
took
him up
him with him, and they just go into the sky and they disappear.
Okay, I've got the quote. Our father, having spent his small fortune, finally disposed of the house and grounds as well. It was 12 years ago when we moved into a small house downtown. It seemed as though we'd lost everything, but there were also new things that we gained. The first friend that Reinhard had since he was born was a tall young man with red hair like flame and a pleasant smiling face. I told that boy, Sieg, be good friends with my little brother, okay? That red-headed boy kept his promise. No, far from that, he did even more than I'd hoped for. And then they're flying around, and what nobody else could do. I've taken Siegfried Kirkeis's life and everything other than that, even everything other than that. He died while I live on. I am a sinful woman. Please don't give me any guards. I want to die.
And Mariendorf is like, don't be fucking stupid,
Because
alright?
if you die, then Reinhardt's going to go off the fucking deep end, and then we are all fucked.
And you're allowed to live, okay? That's
Yeah.
like, we can...
You're kind of a fundamental state asset at this point by virtue of the fact that you're the only person Reinhardt cares about.
But also, like, you didn't kill Kirkeis. That guy killed Kirkeis.
Yeah, and he's dead.
He's dead now. Chill. Like, that's okay.
Just think about what Kirkeis would do in this situation.
And the Sylph immediately, upon hearing what would Kirkeis do, goes,
You're
you
right.
can protect me.
Because that's what Kirkeis would do.
Yeah.
Oh, we love him. And I love my brother through him. And then he's gone. I don't really love my brother the same way anymore. It's almost like he was a proxy for our love.
And so that's, I think, all they talk about, I think?
Pretty much.
I don't think there's any back... Oh, and then they're like, just call me Annabelle.
Anna Rose.
Anna Rose.
Just call me Annabelle. Wait, is that your name?
No, but I like it more. And now they're friends, kind of, I guess.
They're friends now.
Yeah, sort of. They're on first name basis.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone we work with were on first name basis, so I mean,
That's right, Mr. Valentine.
Goddamn right.
And then we'll just cover it now. There was a cutaway back to them later that episode where Hildegard is staying the night at the cabin, and Conrad comes in and is like, "Why won't you leave her alone?" And Hildegard is all, "Oh, well, I also care about her. We're friends now." He's like, "Okay."
And then he goes back out.
Yep. But then, between that, there is a scene of Reinhardt owning the, like, Phezzani
guy.
ambassador.
Yep.
Where he's basically like, "Hey, are you a, like, worthless lapdog, or do you have any authority here?" "I am a worthless lapdog, sir."
Ah, great. Well, guess what? I'm going to treat you like you have some authority here.
Reinhardt lays out the whole kidnapping scheme and is like, "So what's the deal with that?" And he says, "Well, essentially what we wanted to do was let him kidnap the Kaiser, take him through Phezzan to Alliance territory, thereby giving you, what is it? Is that Casus Belli? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
reason to
something like
wage
that.
war.
Something like that.
On the Alliance. You've just suffered a big military loss within the Fortress versus Fortress episodes, so the people might not be incredibly in favor of war right now, but if there's a pretender state over there, then yes."
Ooh.
And also, it will inflame political attentions in the Alliance, weakening them further.
So I think Reinhardt at this point is like, "That's great and all, but I want more."
Yeah. "I want you to give me control or access, free passage." That was it.
Free passage through the Phezzan corridor.
And we know there are two corridors between Alliance and
Movable
Empire
space,
space,
yeah.
which is the Isolon corridor, which is blockaded by the fortress, and Phezzan, which Phezzan is an independent city-state, has.
And
control of it.
this guy's like, "You've got to be shitting me. What? We can't give you
Hey,
passage through
I'm the
Phezzan."
friggin' space emperor here!
All right, I am telling you that if you want this plan to work, right? Because I know you got your fucking spies in here and all
You
that.
fucking worm.
All right, if you want that to work, which I'll let it happen.
Give me that friggin' space corridor, jerk.
And the guy's like,
Well, I am just a worthless lapdog.
It's like, and I'm pretending you have some authority. Now go back to your master and give me that fucking free passage. This goes on for quite some time.
A pretty long scene. And then the Conrad Motor and Anna Rose and Hildegard scene takes us out to the end of the episode.
Yep, nothing happens.
Yep. Long meetings, these two.
Whew.
Truly, a show about meetings.
A show about meetings. Just talking heads all the way. All interesting enough while watching it. But nothing happens. It's just like when you do like a philosophy lecture. Actually, no. Better example. It's when you do a math lecture. And at first they're like, "All right, so look, we know that the derivative of x squared is 2x.
You're losing me.
Right? We know that it's 2x because you get your 2 and you bring it down. And you're like, "Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you so far." And then after about 10 minutes, they're like, "So the derivative of 2x comes from the fact that because the power is this, it comes down, right? We know that." It's like, yep, we still know that. And then another 10 minutes pass, like, now
But
what?
we don't know that.
Yeah, it's like, but what if there was something that was to the power of 3? And it's like, wouldn't it just be 3? It's like, very good, 3x squared, right? Because you take it and it becomes 2. And you're like, yep. And then at
It's
the
getting
end,
too technical for
but
me.
then at the end of it, they're like, and that's why when you take x minus 4x takes 7x squared over this x plus this random exponential thing, it becomes this. And you're like, okay, you lost me in the middle.
Oh, so did you.
And I understand that we got here. And it was all interesting enough when I was listening. But did something happen here that I'm just
Did
missing?
I black out for a minute there?
Yeah, did we skip something very
Did you keep
important?
saying numbers and X and put me into an MK Ultra style trance?
And the lecturer's like, "Were you not listening about the Jacobian matrix?" And you're like, "What? So the what? What the hell's a Jacobian?"
Oh, that's back in the Jacobian era when all of the peasants were put into a sort of human battery to power the king's reality machine.
Are you talking about the Matrix?
Yeah, the Jacobian matrix.
The Jacobian matrix. Yeah. Back in the year 1990 something, 8, 9.
Yeah, 1998, the Jacobian era.
The Jacobian era, 1998 to 1998, because it's always 1998 in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
that would actually be pretty pleasant.
No smartphones.
No social media.
Global warming hasn't really kicked off in a big way yet.
No, Cheese TV's still on the air.
TV's still on the air. So I think it's kind of that meaty season 1 of Pokemon era. We're probably doing Elite Four stuff.
Yeah. We're still in Gen 1. Life is good.
We are now. This is a big detraction. We are
Okay.
trapped in the Raditz Raccoon loop of Dragon Ball Z episodes.
Raditz Raccoon loop.
Raccoon.
Raditz Raccoon.
Okay, so history of dubbed Dragon Ball broadcasting.
Okay.
The Raditz Raccoon Loot
Mm-hmm.
is a nickname for the stretch of episodes from the start of Dragon Ball Z, where they fight Goku's brother Raditz,
Yep.
to Goku arriving on Namek and owning Raccoon, one of the Ginyu Force members.
Oh, the big muscular guy?
And there was a long time where that was as far as it had been dubbed. So over and over again, you would see Goku get there, kick Raccoon's ass, and it's like, okay, now he's going to fight Frieza. And
Then it would just go back
Raditz.
to... Right, I see. I guess that's the true nature of the Matrix, is that because it's all one big cyclical system, you're always stuck with that one part of Dragon Ball Z. You never get to see fully Vegeta become a good dad. And that's why we have to break free of the Matrix to see the next season of Dragon Ball Z get dubbed. I now am way more on Neo's side to break free from the Matrix.
1998 is pre-Steel Ball Run, which would be a shame.
It's also, I'm pretty sure it's pre-Deus Ex. Like the video game Deus Ex, I think came out in 2000.
Okay.
Which is a shame, because, you know, it's a pretty good game.
People like it.
Yeah.
It's probably pre-Michigan Report from Hell.
Michigan Report from Hell?
That's that video game where you, it's like a zombie demon attack on Michigan, and you're a news reporter, and all you do is film,
and you just watch people getting
You're the
eaten by
cameraman,
demons.
and you just record the a string of expendable female news hostesses investigating.
And
you have to bump them out of the way of danger.
Is that a PS2 game?
Yeah, something like that. Very interesting game.
Yeah. What
Bad, but very interesting.
What was I just thinking? Oh, it's post Penn and Teller's long road trip game.
I don't know. You're to Desert Bus.
Yeah, Desert Bus.
Is that Penn and Teller?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Penn and Teller, isn't it?
I don't know.
Is it?
I just know about it from the Desert Bus charity event.
Yeah. I think they made it because they found video games like
tedious.
Well, I think they wanted to poke
We're going to
fun
show
at the
you how
tedium of it.
tedious video games can be.
And they were like, well, this is a funny joke. And they were like, we can make that.
How did he code the game if he can't speak?
Who, Penn?
I don't know which one's which.
Well, see, the pen is mightier than the sword.
The pen is mightier than the teller. Because
exactly.
the pen, 1,000 years from now, can say that tyrant was a bad man.
Teller, the immortal, wordless, formless being that he is, will just be like...
Nick is doing a shrugging motion.
No, Teller's shrugging.
I have to, of course, explain that because he still doesn't describe his motions.
Well, I
on the
can't because
podcast.
Teller can't talk.
Nick!
Yes.
A lot of meetings leading up to us.
So many meetings.
What's going to happen next time?
Yet no
on
actionable next steps.
Legend of Galactic Heroes. You're so fucking consultancy pilled.
Oh, I'm so triggered by when we say so many meetings because my job was just like all meetings for a while and every meeting was like, yeah, so we're all here. And I was like,
what is going to happen next time on Legend of Galactic Heroes in the episode entitled The Abduction of the Kaiser?
You're shitting me. That's actually what it's called? Oh my god.
Yes.
I reckon the abduction won't actually happen yet.
They're going to be laying some groundwork.
Exactly. I think they're going to be saying in, I don't know, a lot of meetings, potentially.
Schumacher's going to be like, now where does the Kaiser live? And he's looking through binoculars at New Sansuchi.
And fucking, what's his name?
The
budget.
shitty poet.
Yeah, the bumbling poet will be there like, why are we abducting the Kaiser?
This gives me an idea for a poem.
Fuck. Could you imagine if we keep getting bad poems from this guy and they're just like, read it out in full. The viewer will love it.
Shall I compare thee to the Kaiser's lips? Why, you've got some wonderful childbearing hips.
Schumacher immediately punches him.
Gun in his mouth.
Listen, if you read another goddamn poem, you'll be seeing Phezzan from a new angle.
Hell. Yay.
So, I think they won't actually do it, but there'll be a lot of talk. And then at the very end...
The second episode next time, they'll do it.
No, I think at the very end, they will put the thing on top of his head. The big
they're gonna
potato...
black bag him.
Yeah, they'll potato sack him.
It's going to be hard to get the potato sack over that crown.
It's true. It is an exorbitantly big crown. They'll potato sack him, and that'll be the end of the episode.
End of the first episode?
Yep. Yeah. And then the second episode will be them trying to get away. Yeah. The whole time, Lowengram and
airports
Oberstein...
will go on lockdown. Because the Lowengram and Oberstein... Well, Lowengram potentially wants to let them get away with it now.
Well, I reckon what'll happen is Lowengram will say, we shouldn't let them get away with it. We should do something similar. And Oberstein will be like, no, just let them do it. Because they're obviously working in our best intentions. And after the end of this, we can just kill them anyway.
I think that's going to be a thing where Lowengram has to put on a show of resisting it while ultimately allowing them to get away with it.
But everyone who's close to him will know, yeah, he's actually, like, he's descending further and further.
Hildegard will realise, maybe Mittermeier and Ruenthal will be like, maybe I should take the universe. And Mr. Sick Victorian Man, Kunmel, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It will be like, kill the Kaiser so that I can go down in history.
Oh my god, what if he just shows up
and just suicide bombs them or something?
Yeah, and he's all like, this will be my lasting legacy, long live Lowengram, kills the Kaiser.
And himself.
And then everyone, and Phezzan is like, who did what? He couldn't get out of bed. How the hell did he kill the Kaiser? Okay, alright.
We'll see all that and more next time. Nick, we didn't do our highlights and lowlights.
Oh, you know what my highlight's going to be. That bumbling poet. That stupid idiot. No, it's actually Schumacher. Bam on the wall.
Yeah, that was great.
Gone, and it's like, what the hell are you doing here? I mean, that's my highlight for sure.
Yeah, I think I've got to give it the same.
Yeah, lowlights.
Lowlight. You know, I've oft compared Thunder to Kaiser Rudolph's outbursts of temper.
Is this one of the things that, what's his name? The author was saying, like, oh, when I look back on it and thought, wow, that was really smart, I look back and go, oh no.
I have no way of knowing that.
This must be one of those lines. It has to be.
If you need to believe that, I'm not going to disabuse you of it.
Lol.
Lol.
I reckon, look, it is a low light, but at the same time, it's not. Ah, yes, the Black Fox playing
so
the
good.
flute. It's like, it's so good, but
That
at the
was
same
my
time.
highlight, actually.
But it's such like a... What are you
It's so
saying?
needlessly operatic.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And even still, he dances in the shadows with the satyrs and nymphs of the human subconscious.
He still fondles the violin.
Fondles
of time.
the moonbeams of ambition.
He rolls the dice of Dungeons and Dragons.
Plucks at the heartstrings of men's desires.
He eats the soft, supple bread of women's, of women and men's
Bodies. He sups upon the pleasures of the flesh, as one might partake of the Holy Eucharist.
He travels through the transcendental nature of
the warp way.
Of the web way. He still has that long flowing hair, which is devious in some way, but no one knows why.
The length of his hair is matched only by the extremity of his baldness.
And his ambition. It's just like, okay, just say what you mean.
Just talk normal, Lowengram.
Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure modern
Why
audiences...
doesn't he just talk like a normal, down-to-earth, working stiff like me?
Oi, I reckon that Lowengram's the Black Fox playing his flute from behind the curtain, innit?
You're right, Ruenthal.
Let's fucking get him! And then they just...
Yeah, and that's how the show ends.
It's just... The whole show could just be ended by a couple of, like, super hardcore Yorkshire workers just showing up and being like, oi, that's Lowengram! Get him, boys! And then just beating down on him.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's what you get for making Thatcher look alright.
This is for undermining the working class and advancing the privatisation of state interests.
Let's see the market fix that, you big sicko.
Great, well, we'll see all of that and more next time, I'm sure. But until then,
To be continued.